Good morning, everybody. I welcome you all to this digital classroom for the subject control systems. In the previous lecture, we had a brief insight about signal flow graph representation, its fundamentals, and its performance equation. Then we got introduced to few of the important terminologies like forward path gain, loop gain, and non-touching loops. Today, we are going to discuss about steps involved in Mason's gain formula with few example problems which has been taken from previous year's VTU question paper. Before we start with, let's discuss the answer for the previous homework given to you, and you can have a glimpse on the answers and cross-verify with your answers. Let's start with today's session, Mason's gain formula. Mason's rule is a systematic approach which involves 7 steps as follows. Step 1. Consider forward path gain Pi for each forward path Pi. For the given signal flow graph, forward path is a path from input node to the output node. We know this definition already, which has been discussed in the previous lecture. Step 2. Calculate all individual loop gains. Step 3. Consider 2 non-touching loops at a time. Step 4. Consider 3 non-touching loops at a time. Step 5. Consider 4 non-touching loops and so on. So we are supposed to consider for any 2 non-touching loops at a time, and we have to identify whether we have any 2 non-touching loops for a given signal flow graph. Then at step 4, we have to identify that whether we have any 3 non-touching loops. Non-touching loops in the sense 3 loops which do not have a common node. That is, if you have identified 3 nodes, they should not share a common node with each other. Step 6. Calculate delta from step 2, step 3, step 4 and step 5. And we have to substitute in delta, where delta is given by 1 minus of sum of all individual loop gains plus sum of products of the gains of all possible 2 loops that do not touch with each other minus of sum of product of the gains of all possible 3 loops that do not touch with each other plus and so on and so forth with sums of higher number of non-touching loop gains. So this gets extended with respect to the possibilities of combinations of non-touching loops available for a given signal flow graph. But remember, we have the signs which is taking alternates, minus, plus, and so on, and we are started up with 1 minus of, remember. Step 7. Calculate delta I as a value of delta not touching ith forward path and calculate the transfer function. So delta I, which is nothing but once after calculating delta, we have to find out with respect to the ith forward path. If suppose I is equal to 1, with respect to the first forward path, we have to find out the value of delta which is not touching the first forward path. If suppose I is equal to 2, we have to identify and find the value of delta 2 with respect to any nodes which is not touching the second forward path and so on. If you solve with one example problems, we will get used to this systematic approach. Finally, the Mason's gain formula is given by CFS by RFS, that is nothing but the Laplace transform of the output divided by Laplace transform of the input, which is given by summation I is equal to 1 to n pi delta I divided by delta, where n represents the number of forward paths and pi represents the ith forward path gain, and delta is the determinant of the system and delta I is the determinant of the ith forward path. So let's take a simple example. Apply Mason's rule to calculate the transfer function of the system represented by the following signal flow graph. So you are given with a signal flow graph with 5 nodes x1, x2, x3, x4, x5. So we have to apply the Mason's rule which we have discussed in the previous session. That is, we have to apply all the steps and finally calculate the transfer function. So let's start solving this problem. Step 1, we are supposed to calculate all possible forward path. So if you look into the signal flow graph, we could able to identify one forward path which is moving from x1, x2, x3, x4, x5. which is moving from x1, x2, x3, x4, x5. And we have another forward path which is moving from x1, x2, x4 to x5. And we have an additional forward path which moves from x1, x2 towards x5. So as a total of three possible forward paths, we have a total of three possible forward paths with respect to the given signal flow graph. So we have to identify the forward path first, and we have to calculate the forward path gain. We know that the forward path gain is the product of all the branch gain which is involved in the forward path. So Pi is equal to T12, T23, T34 into T45. So the product of all branch gains which has been involved in the first forward path. With respect to the first forward path, it is a product of, the path gain is a product of T12, T23, T34 and T45. That is what we have identified and I have represented it here. And P2, the forward path gain, is given by T12, T24 and T45. And P3 is identified as T12, T25. Then step 2. Step 2, we have to calculate and we have to consider all the individual loops. So first we have to identify how many individual loops are found in the signal flow graph. So we know the definition of loop, that is nothing but it has to start from one node and we have to end in the same node. We call it as a loop. So let's identify how many loops are found in the signal flow graph. So it has been highlighted in the red color. So the first loop L1, then the second loop L2, then the third loop L3 and the fourth loop L4. It starts from x2, x3 and reaches back again to x2. Then the second loop, it starts from x3, x4 and again it reaches x3. Then the third loop, it starts from x4 and again it reaches back x4. We can call it as a self loop also. Then the fourth loop, it starts from x2, reaches x4, moves to x3, again back to x4. So we have a total of 4 individual loops and we can calculate its loop gain given by L1, L2, L3, L4. Then moving on to step 3, we have to consider for any two non-touching loops in a signal flow graph. So let's identify any two non-touching loops in the signal flow graph. So if you look into loop L1 and L2, L1 and L2 is sharing a common node x3. Let me highlight. Loop 1 and loop 2 is sharing a common node that is nothing but x3. Whereas if you consider another loop L1 and L4, L1 as well as the loop L4, which has been traced here in the highlighted region, is sharing a common node x2. So now we are trying to find two individual loops which is not touching with each other out of the combination of L1, L2, L3 and L4. So L1 and L2 are sharing a common node x3 and L1 and L4 is sharing a common node x2 and L2 and L4 is sharing a common node L2 and L4 is sharing a common node x4. And if you have the combination of L1 and L3, L1 as well as L3, L1 and L3 are two non-touching loops. We can justify this because they are not sharing a common node. So we represent it. So we have only one combination of two non-touching loops and its loop gain is given by L1 is equal to T23 into T32 and L3 is given by T44 and finally the product of both is L1 times of L3 and we can write it. Moving on to step 4, we have to consider for 3 non-touching loops at a time. So we don't have such possibility and we don't have any 4 non-touching loops and further combinations. So moving on to step 6, we have to calculate for delta, where delta is given by 1 minus of sum of all individual loop gains plus sum of product of all combinations of 2 non-touching loops. So let's substitute all the individual loops and non-touching loops in delta, where delta is equal to 1 minus of Here in this example, we have 4 integer loops. So it is L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus L4 plus of sum of product of combination of 2 non-touching loops. Here we have only one combination. I have taken the product of 2 non-touching loops L1 and L3 and it has been substituted in delta. Then finally, step 7, we have to calculate for delta I. As I told you before, delta I is the value of delta which is not touching the ith forward path. So let us find out what is n. N represents a number of forward path. So in the signal flow graph, we have 3 forward path. So n is equal to 3. So we are supposed to calculate for I ranging from 1 to n. So I equal to 2, 1, 2, 3. So first we have to calculate for delta 1, then we have to calculate for delta 2, and then we have to calculate for delta 3. So to find delta 1 is nothing but the value of delta which is not touching the ith forward path. The value of delta which is not touching the ith forward path. So with respect to this value of delta subjected to the first forward path, we have to identify which among this value of delta is not touching the first forward path. So with respect to the first forward path P1, we could able to sense that all the loops are touching the first forward path. L1 is touching the forward path, L2 is touching the forward path, L3 is also touching the first forward path, and L4 is also touching the first forward path. So the value of delta 1 will be equal to 1 minus of 0 plus 0 plus 0. L1 activated to 0, L2 will be activated to 0, L3 0, L4 0, and we don't have any two combinations of the loops which is not touching the first forward path. Then moving on to the next case where I is equal to 2, we have to calculate the value of delta which is not touching the second forward path. So with respect to the second forward path, almost we have all the loops which is touching the second forward path. All the loops are sharing a common node with respect to the second forward path. So moving on to the third forward path, it's very clear here that we have two loops L2 as well as L3 which is not touching the third forward path. Two loops L2 is not touching the third forward path, and L3 is also not touching the third forward path. So let's substitute for delta 1, delta 2, delta 3 as such. So delta 1, as I told you before, the value of delta which is not touching the first forward path. So we have activated L1 to 0, L2 to 0, L3 to 0, L4 to 0, and L1, L3 combination is also made as 0. So delta 1 will be equal to 1. In case of delta 2 also, with respect to the second forward path, we didn't find any loop which is not touching with the second forward path. So delta 2 is equal to 1 again. Then with respect to delta 3, we have two loops L2 as well as L3 which is not touching the third forward path. Hence, I have activated L2 and L3 and I have made L1 and L4 to 0 and L1 L3 combination also to 0. So this is subjected to delta with specific to the third forward path. So delta 3 will be equal to 1 minus of L2 plus L3. And finally, let's substitute the loop gain for L2 and L3 and finalize with delta 1, delta 2 and delta 3. And finally, now we are going to calculate the transfer function in which the transfer function is given by the Laplace transform of the output divided by the Laplace transform of the input. Here the output node is xy, hence x phi of s divided by input node is x1, hence x1 of s, which is equal to summation I is equal to 1 to n, here n is equal to 3, hence n has been replaced by 3, pi delta I the whole divided by delta. So let's expand the summation as p1 delta 1 plus p2 delta 2 plus p3 delta 3 divided by delta. Making use of the systematic approach, we have found the values for delta 1, delta 2, delta 3 as well as P1, P2, P3, and we have found the value of delta also. One thing left out here is just a substitution from the previous approaches. Just substitute all the values and get the final answer. So let's take a different example now. Apply Mason's gain formula to calculate the transfer function of the system represented by a following signal flow graph. It's again taken from the previous year's VT University question. It's important. If you concentrate, you can score for this topic especially. It is very easy to score. So just look into the signal flow graph. Let's apply the same systematic approach procedure which we followed for the previous problem. And finally apply Mason's gain formula and calculate the transfer function. So in step 1, we are going to calculate all the forward path gain. So to calculate the forward path gain, first we have to consider for how many forward paths are formed in this given signal flow graph. We have to identify the forward path. So let's identify the forward path. Let's trace it and let us identify the forward path. So with respect to this signal flow graph, we could able to identify a forward path which starts from input node R and reaches node C, and I have drawn the pattern here as shown here. It starts from input node R and it has to end at the output node C. Then I can call it as a forward path. In such a way, no nodes along which it passes should not be repeated once again. Once you have met a node, then you are not supposed to meet the same node once again. That is a rule which we have to follow. That is, nodes along which no node is passed more than once. None of the nodes should be passed more than once. You have to be very particular about it. So we have taken this pattern starting from R1 with a branch gain 1, G1, G2, G3 and finally 1. Then let us trace for the second forward path which starts from R and reaches C through 1, G4, G5, G6 and unity gain 1 and finally to C. Just we are tracing it with the branch gains. So we have identified 2 forward paths so far. Let us trace and analyze and find out whether we have few more forward paths in this signal flow graph. Yes, still we have few more forward paths to be traced out. So we have another forward path, that is the third forward path, starts from branch gain 1, G1, G7, G6 and 1. So the total path gain is the product of all the branch gains. And we have a fourth forward path which starts from 1, G4, G8, G3 and 1. And let's write the forward path gain P1 is the product of all the branch gain which has been traced in the first forward path, G1, G2, G3. Then P2 was the product of all the branch gains which it has encountered in the second forward path, G4, G5, G6. And P3, the pattern of P3 is given here. You can have a look at it. And we can write the branch gain for P3 and P4 as P3 equal to G1, G7, G6 and P4 is equal to G4, G8, G3. And let's keep on tracing and find out whether we could able to identify few more forward path. Identifying the forward path and individual loops are mandatory. If you miss one forward path, the complete flow will go wrong and the answer will not match with the final answers. So we have another forward path, P5, and the pattern is represented here and it has been highlighted in red color. It starts from input node R and reaches output node C, and with branch gain G1, G7 minus H2, that is a negative feedback, then G8, G3. So the fifth forward path is given by product of all the branch gains G1, G7, G8, G3, H2. Then we could able to identify the sixth forward path and the pattern is shown here and it has been highlighted in red color in the signal flow graph. And the sixth forward path is given by minus G4, G8, G7, G6, H1. So we have done with step 1, we have identified all the possible forward path, and with respect to this example, we have 6 possible forward path and we have found the forward path gain also. So moving on to step 2, we have to consider and calculate all the individual loop gains. First, we have to identify all possible loops in the signal flow graph. Then we have to calculate the loop gain. So we know the definition for loop, that is it has to start from one node and again it has to end up in the same node. So we could able to identify here 3 loops, L1 with a branch gain G2 minus H1 Then we have L2 with a branch gain G5 minus H2. The pattern has been represented here. And we have L3 which starts from the branch G7 having a branch gain G7, then minus H2, moving on to through G8, then minus H1. Starts from G7, minus H2, G8, then again it reaches back to G7. And let's represent the loop gain L1 as minus G2H1, L2 as minus G5H2, and L3 as G7, G8, H1, H2, minus and minus get cancelled out. It becomes plus, minus and minus, it becomes plus. So we have three possible individual loops and we have found the loop gain also. So moving on to step 3, we have to consider for two loops which is not touching with each other. So if you inspect the signal flow graph, we could able to identify two loops L1 and L2 which is not touching with each other, which has been highlighted in red color. We have two loops L1 and L2 which is not touching with each other. Put up a question to yourself while you are solving this problem. Is there any combination of two non-touching loops? Put a question to yourself. Yes, I have a combination of one combination of two non-touching loops. Identify it, trace it, highlight, and find the product of the loop gain L1 and L2. So we have L1 as minus G2H1 and L2 gain as minus G5H2, and the product of L1 L2 is G2H1 G5H2. And now we have to identify for, is there any combination of three non-touching loops? Is there any combination of three non-touching loops? No, we don't have any combination as such. So moving on to the next step, we have to consider for any four non-touching loops, five non-touching loops, and so on. We don't have such combinations. So we can move on to the next step, that is to calculate the value of delta from all the previous steps, where delta is equal to 1 minus of sum of all integer loop gains plus of sum of product of gains of all possible two non-touching loop minus of product of gains of all possible three non-touching loops, and so on. So delta here is given by 1 minus of, as we have three integer loops, it becomes L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus of, we have only one combination of two non-touching loops, so we have written the product of it L1 L2. So substitute all the previous values of L1 L2 L3 and find the value of delta. Once after finding the value of delta, the last step which is left out here is we have to calculate for delta I. So we have here 6 forward path. So with respect to the 6 forward path, I is equal to 1. The first step, I is equal to 1. So with respect to the first forward path, which has been highlighted in red color with the branch gain G1, G2, G3, we have to identify whether we have any loop which is not touching with the first forward path. It's very clear here. The loop 3 is also sharing a common node with the first forward path. So the one and only loop which is left out here is nothing but loop L2 which is not touching the first forward path. So in the formula of delta, we have to activate L2. We have the formula delta, standard formula delta, in which we have substituted all the values making use of the previous step 2, step 3, step 4. And once after finding the value of delta, we cannot change the value of delta. Here delta 1 is subjected to the first forward path, in which we try to make some modification in the value of delta, activating the loop which is not touching the first forward path. And we have made the rest of all the loops L3 and L1 as 0, and the combination of the loops which is not touching with each other also to be as 0. So we have here delta 1 as 1 minus of minus G5H2. So finally delta 1 is equal to 1 plus G5H2. So now let's calculate for delta 2. Delta 2 is nothing but the value of delta which is not touching the second forward path. So I have highlighted the second forward path with a branch gain of G4, G5, G6. It starts from input node R and it reaches output node C. And with respect to the second forward path, we could able to see very clearly the loop L2 is touching the second forward path. The loop L2 is touching the second forward path and L3 is also touching the second forward path. And the loop L1 is not touching the second forward path. The path P2 and the loop L1 is not sharing a common node. Hence, I can say that they are not touching with each other. So with respect to delta 2, L1 minus I have activated for L1. Delta 2 is equal to 1 minus L1. Substitute for L1. L1 we have found the loop gain as minus G2 H1. Hence L2 will be equal to 1 plus G2 H1. Let's calculate for delta 3. Delta 3 is nothing but with respect to the third forward path, we have to identify whether we have any loop which is not touching the third forward path. We have drawn the pattern of the third forward path and subjected to the third forward path, we have loop L1 which is sharing a common node with third forward path, and we have another loop L2 which is again sharing a common node with the third forward path, and finally L3 is also sharing a common node with the third forward path. Hence, delta 3 can be written as 1 minus of L1, L2, L3 is made to be a 0. So we have deactivated it. 1 minus 0 plus of combination of two non-touching loops is also not available, because the combination of two non-touching loops L1 and L2 is also sharing a common node with the path P3. Hence, it is also made as 0, and hence delta 3 is equal to 1. Similarly, for the fourth forward path, again delta 4 will be equal to 1, and for the fifth forward path it is again 1, and the sixth forward path delta value is also going to be 1. Hence delta 3, delta 4, delta 5 and delta 6 will be equal to 1, as they don't have any loop which is not touching their pattern of the forward path. Hence, once identifying all the values of delta 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we have to substitute in Mason's gain formula, which is given by CFS divided by RFS is equal to summation I is equal to 1 to n, Pi delta I divided by delta, where n is equal to 6 here in this example. So the formula gets expanded to P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2 plus P3 delta 3 plus P4 delta 4 plus P5 delta 5 plus P6 delta 6, the whole divided by delta. We have found the values of all P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6 in the previous slides. Let's substitute all the values and write the final answer. Moving on to the next example, we are given with a signal flow graph in which we are going to apply Mason's rule, and we are going to calculate the transfer function of the system. So here, with respect to this example, we have only two possible forward paths, and the forward path gain is given by P1 is equal to G1, G2, G3, G4, and the second forward path gain is given by G5, G6, G7, G8. And the step 2 is to calculate all individual loop gains. We have four individual loops here, L1, L2, L3 and L4. So the loop gain is given by L1 is equal to G2H2, L2 is equal to H3G3, L3 is equal to G6H6 and L4 is equal to G7H7. Then we have to consider for two non-touching loops. So we have to consider for the combination of two non-touching loops. We have to inspect the signal flow graph and identify for two non-touching loops. So if you take this signal flow graph, L1, we have a loop L1. L1 and L2 are sharing a common node. So we cannot take into consideration for the combination of L1 and L2. But L1 and L3, L1 and L3 are not touching with each other. So I can take it as one of the combination of two non-touching loops as L1, L3. Then with respect to L1, I can even consider for L1 and L4, in which L1 and L4 is also not sharing a common node. Then with respect to node L2, we have L1 and L4 are not touching with each other. So I can take the combination of L2, L4 as well as L2 and L3 is also not touching with each other. So I can take this combination also. So totally we have four combinations of two non-touching loops. So let me erase it. So you can write the combinations. Then the next step is to identify the value of delta. We have to substitute the value of delta, where delta is given by 1 minus of sum of all individual loop gains L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus L4 plus sum of product of all possibilities of two non-touching loops. So we have four possibilities of two non-touching loops here. So L1 L3 plus L1 L4 plus L2 L3 plus L2 L4. So we have four combinations. So we have written the value of delta. We have to substitute all the loop gains and find the value of delta. And finally, we are going to calculate for step 7, that is we are going to calculate for delta I. So here we have two forward paths. So with respect to the two forward path, we have to identify delta 1 and delta 2. So with respect to the first forward path, we have two loops which is not touching with each other. With respect to the first forward path, we have L3 and L4 which is not touching with the first forward path. So delta 1 will be equal to 1 minus of L3, L4. I have activated L3 and L4 in the value of delta specific to the first forward path, as L3 and L4 is not touching the first forward path. And rest of all the combination, it is made it as 0. And similarly, delta 2, with respect to the second forward path, we have identified two loops L1 and L2 which is not touching the second forward path. So once after identifying delta 1, delta 2, let's substitute in the transfer function. C of s by R of s is equal to summation I is equal to 1 to n pi delta I divided by delta. Let's expand the summation, which is given by P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2 divided by delta. We have found the values of delta 1, delta 2, P1, P2 as well as delta. Let's substitute those values and calculate the transfer function. Let's take another example. Apply Mason's gains rule to calculate the transfer function of the system represented by the following signal flow graph. So I have been given with the signal flow graph almost 4 problems we have solved with respect to Mason's gain formula for a signal flow graph. Hope you are very strong enough to solve this problem. Let's trace for the first forward path, that is nothing but the step 1. So consider for the first forward path. In first forward path, we could be able to identify only one forward path starting from input node RFS towards output node CFS with branch gain G1 of S, G2 of S, G3 of S, G4 of S and G5 of S. And we have only one forward path in this example. Then step 2, we have to consider for all individual loop gains. So in this signal flow graph, we have 4 individual loop gains L1, L2, L3 and finally L4. L1 is equal to G2H1, L2 is equal to G4H2, L3 is equal to G7H4 and L4 is equal to G1, G2, G3, G4, G6, G7, G8. So we have 4 individual loops and we have found the individual loop gain also. Moving on to step 3, we have to identify any combinations of two non-touching loops. Is there any possibility of any combinations of two non-touching loops at a time? So in this signal flow graph, we have 3 combinations of two non-touching loops. We have 3 combinations of two non-touching loops, L1 and L2. They are said to be non-touching because they are not sharing a common node. Then L2 and L3 also can be said to be non-touching as they are not having a common node, as well as L1 and L3 also said to be non-touching as they are not sharing a common node. And moving on to the next step, we have to consider for any combinations. Do we have any combinations of 3 non-touching loops? Yes, of course, in this example, we have a combination of 3 non-touching loops, L1, L2, as well as L3, which is not sharing a common node. Hence, I can say that L1, L2, L3 are 3 non-touching loops. So finally, we have to substitute for delta. where delta is given by 1 minus of L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus L4 plus of L1 L2 plus L1 L3 plus L2 L3. Here we have got three combinations, so it becomes sum of product of two combinations of non-touching loops minus of, here we have one term which we have a combination of three non-touching loops L1, L2, L3. Then finally, we have to calculate for delta I, in which as we have only one forward path, in this case n is equal to 1, and subjected to the first forward path starting from input node RFS towards output node CFS, which is highlighted in red color, which is having a gain of G1 of S, G2 of S, G3 of S, G4 of S, and G5 of S. We have to find out which of the loop is not touching the first forward path. It is very clear that loop L3 is not touching the first forward path. Hence, delta 1 will be equal to 1 minus of L3, and rest of all the terms will be made as 0. And finally, we have to substitute in Mason's gain formula. CFS by RFS is equal to summation I is equal to 1 to n pi delta I divided by delta, where n is equal to 1, so P1 delta 1 by delta. Substitute the value of P1 and delta 1, you will get the final answer. So, in the next lecture, we will be discussing about block diagram to signal flow graph representation, and then we will simplify for Mason's gain formula. And you will be given with an electrical network, and we have to transform the electrical network to signal flow graph. So, thank you very much. Let's meet in the next session.